Hi everyone, it's Missy, and we got a frost last night. If you can see my canna lilies here, the tops of the leaves are shriveling, they had turned brown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig them up and winterize them. And it's a pretty windy day. As you can see, the chickens are busy, and the reason why I planted them here is because they're a nice screen for my chicken house, my chicken coop, and they shaded it nicely through the summer. But these are not winter hardy, so I have to dig them up if I want to save them for next year. And usually these are supposed to only get like 3 to 4 feet tall. It must be the chicken manure. That's all I could think of, because these actually got 8 to 9 feet tall. And if you saw the picture before you started playing this video, I am 5'5", and that just goes to show how tall these things really got. And if you look, I don't know how well you can see it on this end, but there's multiple stalks coming out of each bulb. And actually you can see some of the bulbs are poking through. It's kind of hard to see on this end. You kind of have to be in the garden. Probably look over here. So, and that the chickens just dug holes in there. But all you need is a spade, a cardboard box, and a scissors. And then, because I'll be composting the stalks. But I'm gonna let the chickens out and then we'll get started. Okay, so we're down at the bottom, and this is my first cluster. If you can see, I do have a new bud that was starting to come here, this red part. But now that it's frozen, it's not gonna grow. My chickens are kind of, if a chicken gets in the way, I apologize ahead of time, but they love hanging around these. So these stalks are pretty thick, but what I'm going to do is take a utility scissors and just cutting the stalks down as close to the ground as possible. And like I said, there's multiple stalks on each clump here, and I know the bulbs or rhizomes, or I forget what the technical term is for this variety of lilies. They split and they've divided themselves or produced new ones. But I have to be careful, because even though I did grow this close to the fence, I see that it did grow on the other side. It did come up on the other side of the fence. So just gonna pull them through as best I can. And you can see down here, this is what I'm talking about. They've multiplied so much. Down by the tip of my scissors, you can see where they're coming out of the ground. But once I get all these stalks taken away, we'll start digging and see what we got. So you can see here where they went through the fence. And hopefully yours aren't as unmanageable as these ones became, and they're a lot easier for you guys to work with. But they are a beautiful tropical plant, and if you have these around a pond garden, they look really pretty. Okay, now that I have finished cutting off all the stems of the cluster, I had originally planted just one right in the middle there, so that's how I knew that it just got to be a cluster. But I'm just going to take my spade, not exactly sure how far to dig. I do see some sprouts there, so I think I'll just start here about 2 to 3 inches away from the edge. Man, ground's hard. And I'm going through the sod too, which doesn't help. And you just want to put the soil off to the side, because you'll be using that to put back in the hole. And you just want to make sure that you're far enough away that you're not going to slice them. Right now I'm having a hard time with that because there are just so many. And you can see I already sliced through one, but I'll show you what it looks like. It's so they'll look kind of white underneath. But that one's not going to be any good because I did cut through it. I'm going to see if we can get some more of this soil off and sod. Alright, so now you can see part of them that are coming up. I'm just going to pull this clump apart. And what you want to do is get as much of this dirt off as possible. I wish I didn't slice through that one, but I didn't know how far. I see they're all the way back here. And we have really muddy ground because it's been raining for the past couple of weeks. But you can take a hose and wash. I try to get as much dirt as I can off of these, and then I take a hose and I rinse off the rest of the dirt, or get as much of the dirt off as possible. It's starting to come off pretty good. Okay. You can see where I chopped it right here, and you can kind of see how they separate. So they grow, and it's tubers really, and then they just kind of keep branching off of each other, and that's how you get these new pieces. And when you break these pieces off, that's how you get these new ones that I can just plant in the ground. And I know this one has a growth area right here because it has that stem. And so what I do is I let these dry as best as I can. Try not to wreck it, but I guess I am. There we go. And then when they're dry, I put them in a cardboard box like this, and then they'll just sit in the cardboard box in my basement. My basement is an unfinished basement, so I'll just put that one in here right now, and I'll just keep going down the line, and I'll keep digging these up. And if there's any rotted ones, I doubt I have any, they'd be brown and mushy and they soft, just throw those. You want to keep any that are nice and firm and white, or they have this pinkish tone to them. These are nice, healthy canna lilies. These are the ones you want to keep, but you don't want them to freeze. So like I said, we got the frost that came this morning, so that's why I'm digging them up right now. If you don't have a frost that comes, you want to dig them up by Halloween. So, and just make sure that you store them. I store them uncovered in that cardboard box. Yes, they are layered on top of each other. The only thing I do in the winter time is sometimes I go down there and I shuffle them around, making sure that they are not molding on me. And just make sure that they're kind of stirred up so they get more air movement again, to make sure that they're dry. If they start shriveling up, I do sprinkle some water on them because then they're too dry. But once you start going, you start working on it, you can pretty much start digging and pulling the rest of these out. And even if sometimes you want to work by hand, that's fine too. Get a nice hand trowel and work on it. Right here I got another one, another piece. So, and you kind of want to break them off into these smaller pieces so that way when you come to plant them in the spring, they you can plant one and space them out so they're not crowded and clustered like you see here. But hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye. Just so you guys can see where that hole came from. I got one of the chickens in there. Yeah. It's its little nest. Are you helping me dig them out? I think it's helping me dig out the canna lilies, but sometimes chickens can be a little destructive to the garden, but you gotta love them.